going on, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. I hope everybody is having a great day. It's a little muggy over here on the northeast, but it's all good. It looks like the sun's starting to peek out as it's setting, but I hope the sun is shining bright and the birds are chirping and all that good stuff. Nice weather is upon us, and it's only continuing to get nicer. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Got some things to talk about. Fernando Tatis Jr. and the San Diego Padres. Got to talk about a little bit of Russell Westbrook, as well as UFC 261 concluding last night. All that and more here on the podcast, so appreciate y'all for checking us out. So let's just jump right into it. So Fernando Tatis Jr. is superstar shortstop for the San Diego Padres, and I won't call him the best shortstop in baseball because in my opinion he's not. He still has some stuff to work on. He's a 22-year-old phenom, so he has plenty of time to take that number one spot. And I believe for a lot of people, a lot of MLB analysts, they'll even probably have him in the top 15, top 10 in all of baseball. I mean, shoot, when it comes to popularity, absolutely. I just don't know about. I'm not entirely sure when it comes to like overall skill set, because he is a monster. But shoot, man, I need to see him. I need to see the rest of his career play out, not like in the regards when it came to like GOAT debates of like between in basketball, Michael Jordan and LeBron and guys like that. But I want to see Tatis play a little bit more before I start putting him in the number one, because he's eventually going to get there if he stays on the path he's on. And he's in a great market in California, even though it's kind of like the little brother to the Dodgers. But speaking of the Dodgers, they beat him in the 3-game series over the weekend, 2 games to 3. Well, 2 games to 1, more like it. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun baseball. But for those who don't know, there's the LA pitcher Trevor Bauer, who, former Cy Young winner, and he was known, for the Padres. Padres probably don't really like him very much because in the preseason or spring training for baseball, they played each other, and Trevor Bauer, when he pitched in the spring training game, he pitched with one eye open. And I would say it was probably more of the gesture, and I think he was just having fun with it. I guess you can interpret it as him trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. But to me, I think it was just more like, hey, I want more emotion, I want more personality. That's what I took it, because I want to see players do more like that. And he even talked about it and commented on it after the game last night, because he pitched last night and Fernando Tatis Jr. took him deep twice. And Fernando, after the first home run, he covered his right eye, signaling to everyone like, hey, I still remember. And he took him deep again a little later in the game, and then he did Trevor Bauer's like strut, because what he used to do last year, he used to do a strut when he was coming off the field when he pitched a good inning. So things like that, it's like, yeah, it's cool to show each other up. And keep in mind, like certain pitchers, and even maybe up to a few years ago, Tatis probably would have got hit after the first homer. But let's talk about what Trevor Bauer said after the game. He said, and this isn't by exactly what he said, but long story short, he said like he loves it. He thinks it's great for the game. He wants to see more personality from these players, and he wants to see guys enjoy their success. And yeah, and that's kind of the grand scheme of it all when it comes for me wanting to see the game grow, is to see more characters. I want to see more personality from guys. Like, I always think about it with football, because there's so many characters in football, and keep in mind, these guys have helmets on and things like that during the game, but they still find a way to show them that they're human under the helmets and all the gear and all that. In baseball, I would think baseball, they would have a whole bunch of characters and a whole bunch of people you can gravitate towards. That's the only sport that I can really think of anyway that like dudes really be wearing like solid, like dripped out chains and whatnot. Like, they need to allow players to have more freedom and things like that. Just have them show them being people, like guys who love this game just as much as the fan does, and just try to scratch that old man mentality of hitting someone because they bat flipped on your ass. So, but it's always good to see the game at least take another step forward. But I'll at least say this: Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of my favorite players right now. I feel he's doing a great job of marketing himself, and I feel MLB is doing a good job of trying to market him because he is a top player in the league already at 22 years old, and there's no doubt there's a lot of hardware going to be coming his way very, very soon, whether it'll be championships or MVPs and things like that. But shoot, he has a long time to figure that out. And long story short, and just to end off this topic, is just I just want to see more personalities. I want to see guys leave their comfort zone to kind of be larger than life kind of figures in this game. And I feel guys like Trevor Bauer and Fernando Tatis Jr. do a good job of setting the tone for the rest of the players in the league. But speaking of larger than life characters, we got to talk about the man, the Brody, Russell Westbrook, and the fact that this man, over his last 10 games, this dude's been going on a tear. He's been averaging triple-double after triple-double for I don't even know how long. I know there was a graphic I saw on Instagram, but I got up to his last 10 games. So Russell Westbrook, in his last 10 games, 22.4 points, 13.9 rebounds, and 12.6 assists in his last 10. So dude's been killing it. And keep in mind, the Wizards were 9-1 while he's playing like this. So, and I don't even have the numbers for Bradley Beal in this span, or whether he's been playing or not, but I'm sure he has. But this is the kind of player that people were expecting Russell Westbrook to be, and I'm kind of glad that he's kind of showing the world, like, hey, I'm not washed. And I really hope, because I remember saying that Russell Westbrook might be a guy who ages horribly, but shoot, if he stays healthy and that athleticism just stays there, I don't think it's going to stay there forever, obviously, unless this dude's just a freaking, I mean, quite honestly, I wouldn't even put it past Russell Westbrook, because this dude's just a freak of nature. But yeah, and the fact that the Wizards, I don't even have the standings in front of me, but I'll pull them up right now. But the fact that the Wizards were 9-1, so now they're kind of a legit playoff team. But I'm fairly certain that, remember at the beginning of the year, people said when they saw John Wall playing how he was playing with the Rockets, man, the Wizards probably regret giving up John Wall for this Russell Westbrook. They're like, oh man, Russell's this, that, and the other. The Wizards were 9-1, but now they're 26-33. They're a couple of games out of the 8th seed, trying to chase the Hornets, and then yeah, it's just a battle for like it seems like the top 3 seeds are like, I wouldn't say cemented, but like you can kind of assume the Bucks, Nets, and 76ers are probably just gonna maintain those top 3. Then you got the Knicks mixed with the Hawks and the Celtics and the Heat. The Celtics lost today to the Hornets, so that helps the Hornets a little bit. But seeing Westbrook, now I don't know if Westbrook would even be traded at this point. I know going into the offseason and all that, but it depends how things go, because if they can just build on, I guess, like this duo and even try to get some complementary pieces and even make it to the playoffs, just show Bradley Beal that you guys are trying to work, because I'm pretty sure he's more wanting to stay than he wants to leave, even though these guys haven't been playing the best. But yeah, they're kind of mixed with the Bulls and all that. Like, guys are fighting for those 9 and 10. But actually, I believe technically the Wizards are in the play-in tournament right now, because if I remember correctly, I believe it's 10 and 9 place each other, and then I guess they face 7 and 8th seed, I believe. I'm not sure exactly how the play-in works, but I think it's all, I guess they fight for the 7th and 8th seed. However, anyways, when it comes to Westbrook, I don't know. I'm trying to, it's kind of like a career perspective for me right now for Russell Westbrook. I mean, I remember back when it was like prime Westbrook, and I mean, you can still kind of say he's in his prime, even though he's entering his 30s and whatnot now. I believe he's 31, 32. But yeah, it's like, it's weird with Westbrook, because if he's not playing well, people are like, oh man, he's washed, this, that, and the other. Because think about it, at the beginning of the season, he wasn't playing very well, and folks were saying he was washed, he can't shoot, the Wizards suck, they should have kept John Wall and all that. Granted, I believe John Wall's been doing a good job of what he's been giving out in Houston. I don't think he'll demand a trade, but I think the Rockets will probably look to move him anyway, depending on, I guess, the draft and all that, and depending on see what John Wall wants to do. But I mean, shoot, the Rockets, they have pieces to move, because I'm guarantee you there are going to be people calling about Christian Wood. there'll probably be a team out there calling about John Wall or something. And yeah, we'll just have to see where the Rockets go. But with Westbrook, his time in OKC, I just don't know. It's very weird when it comes to like the fans when they come to the topic of Russell Westbrook. Some people love him, people don't like him, people say he's a stat pattern, ball hog, all that stuff. But with Russell Westbrook doing what he's doing, it just, I don't know. I think the main thing with him was team success. And shoot, if he was supposed to, when he was coming in, he was supposed to make the Wizards better. And it looks like in the second half of the year, maybe they'll scratch and claw their way into a playoff spot. Cause think about it. I feel that would be a pretty hefty AC to go up against if you're like the 76ers or no, I wouldn't even say the 76ers, because I would say, let's say Brooklyn. Because I know Kevin Durant was planning to come back tonight and all that. If the Nets are at full strength, then forget about it. But think about it, because that's a very high scoring backcourt right there, him and Bradley Beal. And yeah, I'd say they'll probably, if they could be a problem, but who knows? But who knows where the Wizards are going to lie? But Russell Westbrook is still that type of time with the triple doubles and whatnot. So I don't know if Mans is going to slow down, or if it is going to be a huge fall from grace whenever that happens. But Russell Westbrook to me is definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't know if anybody's questioning that, you're on something. Now just deep diving into some other stuff I've just seen on Instagram and whatnot. UFC 261 concluded last night, and it was, I didn't really watch it, the particulars and anything, but I did take notice of the main event when it came to Usman and Masvidal, and for the welterweight title. Damn, like that's all I really gotta say is damn. Saw the video, you've seen all the memes and all the whatnot of Masvidal getting knocked out. And when it comes to UFC, because I know it's a really rarely thing we talk about here, but when it comes to UFC, it's very, very, I like it. I don't mind it. I don't keep up with it nearly as much as I say I want to, but I'm a fan of a product, and I know a lot of people would much rather be like, oh man, like this is like, because it's real combat sports. It's not like professional wrestling or anything like that. But what I gotta say about that, it has a following, and it has some hardcore fans. And usually whenever the UFC cards get promoted and whatnot, usually it's the talk of the town whenever a UFC concludes or is going on. And I know there was kind of some spiciness after the show with Cormier, I'm sorry, is Daniel somebody. I know he's he's a former heavyweight champion. He's I may have butchered his name, but it's like, I think Daniel Cormier. And he was barking with Jake Paul after the show. I know he was commentating with Seth Rogen and the other guy, I can't remember his name. But after the show, he came across Jake Paul, and they were chirping about something. And it was funny watching the clip on ESPN, well, ESPN Instagram anyway. And you had the whole crowd saying F Jake Paul, which I thought was pretty funny. I don't know, man, but I don't really care a whole lot about Jake Paul and like that kind of side of media and like those social media superstars and all that. But I was more focused on the UFC, and the UFC was good. Now just some tidbits and stuff to talk about. It's just kind of not even food for thought, but just kind of some round table stuff. Terrence Clark, the Kentucky Wildcats guard, if those who don't know, he passed away a few days ago from a car accident in LA. And it sucks because he was a Boston kid, and I believe he was born and grew up in Dorchester. And he was a Rich Paul client, but I know he was close to Jaylen Brown. He was friends with, Jaylen Brown, he was friends with Donovan Mitchell and Tatum. And he was just 19 years old when he passed. And I didn't watch the video. I do know there was traffic footage of the accident, and I don't know, it just sucks, man, hearing something like that, because he was a 5-star recruit coming out of college and all that, and he was most likely was gonna get drafted by the Celtics in the second round. And I know Jalen, and this is what I agree with Jalen. I mean, Jalen took it pretty hard, but he said that he wants to see the Celtics draft him still, just as a good gesture and a good gesture to his family and all that, because he was a Boston kid and he always dreamed about playing for the Celtics. And yeah, I feel like that would kind of be something that's like, I feel that's an obligation from them, and I think that would go a long way for people, and a long way for his family if they did something like that. And I'm more of a person who likes action, who believes actions speak louder than words. And you can say you send them the condolences and all that, which is still very, very good, and that's what you're supposed to do. But seeing a team like the Celtics, they should look to do something like that, because I feel like it's only the right thing to do, you know? Or even go it a step further and have the NBA draft him, like how they did with the oh man, I forget his name, I'm sorry. It was the kid with the condition. It was Isaiah Austin. I can't believe I forgot the kid's name. It was Isaiah Austin. Do the same thing they did with Isaiah Austin when they did that back in 2014. I feel like something like that would be such a great thing. So that, I don't know, man. It's like, I'll say this: if you're a person on the upward trajectory of your career, and you've been working hard and putting all that time in, please try your best just try to take care of yourself. Everybody, try to take care of yourself, because from my understanding, from people who watched the video and talked to me about it, they said that he and a friend, they were driving, I believe, 2 separate cars, and that Terrence Clark, he ran a red light, and then he came across the intersection, and then I believe he hit someone, and then he spun and hit a pole. And yeah, his friends were in the car behind him and whatnot. I know, like, there's times that people, when it comes to being on the road, it's like there's some people have like a need for speed and things like that. It just stinks, because not even when it comes to like automobile accidents or just things like that, or just, I feel like ways to go that can be avoided. Remember, everyone, it's like you can just go out in like a blink of an eye, just like that. I'd say everyone just be careful, and it sucks. So just make sure you live every day the way you want to, and just treat every day like, just have more appreciation for the people you love. And I would send out here my condolences to Terrence Clark and his family. Just to wrap that up, rest in peace, Terrence Clark. Celtics, please draft him. And also, staying on the topic of people who were gone too soon, Kobe Bryant, he's the top 5 greatest player, top 10 greatest player, whatever you guys want to say. He's the GOAT to some, and he's an icon and hero to many. Kobe's deal with Nike ended, and think about it short term, any Kobe shoe, if you have any sort of Kobe merchandise or anything like that, mainly the shoes, those are probably going for God knows how much now. And for those who knew, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people did know, that Kobe was looking to make his own brand with his shoes after his Nike deal expired. And I know Vanessa Bryant was kind of shocked that Nike didn't offer a lifetime partnership with the Bryant family. And I think that's kind of I guess, and I wouldn't say in poor taste, but I want to say it's kind of bad on Nike's part that they wouldn't look to do something like that. Like, one of your most prominent athletes that ever signed with you, and you guys aren't looking to get the lifetime partnership. But I don't know, man. I feel that's just weird. I find that odd. I find that as to be a weird marketing play. However, I did see that Vanessa Bryant said that that nothing's gonna change when it comes to keeping the legacy of Kobe alive and things like that. But I still would say it's still weird on Nike's part. But yeah, I guess to leave something on a lighthearted note, just to wrap up here. Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, holds a new world record. He caught a football 600 feet off the ground from a helicopter this past weekend. And shoot, I mean, okay. It's very weird, very specific when it comes to Guinness World Records. Jeez, that's a tongue twister. But hey, man, that's fun. But just wrapping everything up here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Rip Terrence Clark, Rip DMX, and actually, DMX did have. I don't know if it was the funeral or not, because I just remembered this, but they had his casket drove around in New York. I believe it was in New York or Atlanta. Yeah, it was. DMX was drove around Brooklyn, and you had the motorcycles in tow. His casket was driven around in Brooklyn by the Barclays Center on a monster truck, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly how he would have liked it. Got all the Rough Riders out there. Just something quick to add in. Rip DMX, Rip Terrence Clark. Celtics, I don't even know what to talk about with them. At least I got my Red Sox. I got that thing going on, but the Celtics have still been playing fine. But anyways, gonna leave it there. Make sure to follow the podcast at Onsite Pod, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to tell your friends, check us out. Follow us if you want. Take care, guys. Peace out.